Hello all, just doing a Trix 22757 V200 conversion, motor conversion. The last conversion I did on this loco was 13 years ago. Can't believe it's that long ago when I installed Locksound V4. That was pretty much straightforward because all it was is installing Locksound V4 bass reflex and the interface was already there, but since then the motor's burnt out. The brushes are burnt out onto the shaft of the actual motor part there. It melted on the inside. It's just completely burnt out and failed. So I thought, well, I do like this model, so I thought let's strip it all down and install a Coreless motor. And this has been going on for well over 6 months because I needed the help of my friend Tony. He machined and adjusted the chassis, the metal chassis, because all the steel had to be taken away to fit this motor, and it was really difficult to do because you've got to try and do that without damaging any of the gearing. And the gearing is factory assembled. Once it's in there, it's virtually impossible to get out unless you've got a special machine. So that's all been installed and it's all working really smooth, as you can see there. But on the drawing, it's all in German. All the instructions for this motor from SB models, SB motor models. You can see the diagram there for it, giving you the basic wiring diagram after you do it. That's the wiring diagram, sorry, the procedure to take out. You've got to mill out and take out all this area right away around here on the top and sides. Maybe a little bit on the back to accommodate. On this model I don't think we had to do that, it's just on the sides here to accommodate the Coreless motor, which you can see now that's all been done. That's ready to go back in, so it has been a real challenge just to get this far. So on the chassis I've got a black wire that connects to the lower part here, this connection area here, to pick up the negative earth on one side of the chassis from the front and the back, and positive is, I think it runs, sorry, negative runs through the chassis and the positive picks up from the other side of the wheel sets. It's a bit of a strange setup this, but I've got to try and accommodate that back to go back in there now and see how it goes. But they're all the bits that are left over. It's got a nice really heavy metal body shell, this, plenty of space to accommodate a power pack or a Locksound cube speaker. You can see how that went in, very easy there. In fact, you could put a power pack in there as well. I'm not sure whether this Locksound V4 will accommodate a Coreless motor. I don't know whether it'll run it or not. Soon find out anyway. I'll have to do a bit of research. But that's where I'm up to with this particular model. And I'll just show where I got the motor from. Right, so this is where I got the motors. This is where I get a lot of my motors from. There are other companies in the UK where you can get, I think, I'm not sure of the Swedish company that Peter Spares imports a lot of Coreless motors which are used in the TGV, and they're really good. But this is the other company I use, SB Model Blow. I've been using this company for a long time now. It's only a small company. Very, I think it's a one-man setup. He's really good though. It's very good, this guy. He answers all your emails. And he's very informative. The information he gives is brilliant. but unfortunately the instruction sheets are in German and I don't know Germans, but we've managed to do it. But there's the turntable motor I used. Like for example, the Coreless motor for the Fleischmann turntable that I installed, that fits perfect. You just got to know how to wire it up, which is quite tricky, which I did show a video on my channel. But you can see all the different ranges of motors. You can send your loco to this guy and he'll machine any machining that needs doing, engineering on the chassis. You can do it all, but obviously you've got to send the model to him to do that, and that can take quite a while. But up to now I've installed all the Coreless motors with the help of my friend myself. So yeah, I'll just go to range. Let's have a look. Pop down menu, HO scale. You can see it just brings up all the different makes, etc. I think you can just type in say Taurus, T-A-U-R-U-S. See what comes up here now. Yeah, there we go. You just type in the loco you want and it'll bring it up, which is really good. All your N scale ones, HO scales, just all depends on what you want. For example, this is one that I'm going to be doing next, which has got highlighted on here. I've just purchased one of these Taurus Porsche locos. These are quite rare actually. I got the loco for about 50 odd quid in mint condition with a digital chip on board, the whole lot. But I want to upgrade the motor on it because it's really noisy. So that's another upgrade I'll be doing. That's something I'll be buying pretty soon, and some discount on that as well at the moment. What I normally do is order a few more things as well off him. Bring the order up to about 130 quid, so I don't pay any import charges. Anything over £130, then you pay the import charges and you get stung on the courier service and all the paperwork they've got to do, which is a shame really. Never had to do that before we exited the Euro, which I'm really sad about when that happened. Just makes life a lot more difficult for importing into the UK. But let's have a look. Yeah, description. That is, I'm not sure whether that's available. Oh yeah, availability and wanting. I think yeah, it's in stock that, so I'm going to be. I might order that today actually. Get a few different items from him. So that's where I'm up to on this, and hopefully on the next clip I'll have this back together and working. Right, so I'm on the next stage of a fit out. I've been doing this loco on and off all day, as well as doing other things around the house. But I've had today off work, so just bear in mind when programming stuff, a bit of advice from myself is, if you're using any sort of test tracks like this is a Zella test track rolling road. This has cost me a lot of money and it works great, but if you're programming stuff and chips, you've got to be very careful, because if any of the chips fall off, if they're not protected, got the protected coating on, like the plastic sleeve, and it touches the side here, it'll blow the chip. And that's happened once when I was programming on this track. Cost me about 100 quid in destroyed chip. And I don't use this anymore for programming when I'm using the ESU decoder programmer or anything like that. This is just purely for testing the speed of trains now, when they're fully assembled. So that's, well, a bit of advice. I now use, obviously, I've got two different types of wooden programming tracks here with the sides where it's elevated, so there's no risk of any shorts if there's any chips dangling over the side there. And it happens to us all. If you're doing a lot of programming over the years, you will destroy chips and throw money down the drain. So also, I like to have things quite nice and tidy. I use EasySU service bays, high quality foam. You can extend them. You can take these slotted areas out and make a long one for a big boy if you wanted to. Double the length of that, and interlinked together. Really good. I've got a magnetic strip on the top. Highly recommend them. There are other ways and other cheap pieces of foam you can use. There's so many other different ways, different things you can use, like that's just my other service bay as well, which is just a piece of packing foam, various different types. I use them as well. And that's that for now. So also I like to keep things as tidy as possible. It's very difficult to keep things tidy when you're doing wiring, so I do so much and then I have a tidy up, and I use one of these little trays here with all the tools on there. That interlinks on top of that, and then there's drawers, etc. Everything's all nice and tidy. Got a helping hand, keeping wires steady, etc. I've got a soldering iron there. It's only a basic one, nothing special. Got a solder reel holder there, so that pulls off nicely as you go along. Box of wires and shrink wrap, etc. Programming bay with all the different testers, etc. I've got another important thing, which is a solder fume extractor. If you're doing a lot of soldering, you don't want to be really breathing in the fumes from it if you can help it. So I use that, just plugs in, switch it on, power it up. You've got a filter there, and that filters all the liquid metal floating around, so that's good. That's my basic setup. Yeah, so what I've done with this model up to now, I'll just put this into the tripod. What I've done with this loco, just take out the chip and switch off. Switch it off, take out the chip. That's the chip I've installed, Locksound V4, which is capable of running coreless motors, but you've got to do a couple of things to make them run properly, and just show that in a minute. There's a chassis all metal. That brown wire is redundant at the moment until I find out what to do with it. The black wire coming from that side, I've rejoined, brought the black wire, negative earth, down through the bogie and reconnected on the pickup here. And that will talk to that, give information of a voltage from that to that bogie. So when you're going over points, it doesn't short out. So that's that. The motor's installed. Doesn't matter which way the blue or green goes. That's all installed using the 2-part liquid glue for metal. That's all nicely installed there. Just got to remember to leave enough space behind, milled out, to put on the bracket which holds the bogie in place when you pick the motor up. Sorry, when you pick the loco up, so the motor doesn't fall out. You've got to have that bracket, and it's got to run behind the motor, and it's got to have enough space with the milling for it to wrap around, and that's held in with a screw. So that's all good. It's all nice. And when you put the Coreless motor on the track, it will move freely. Maintenance free motor. So I'm going to put the lock sound interface in, lock sound V4 into the interface, power that up. Right, so what I've got the motor on default motor settings, and then it's CV51 must be set to 0, CV52 0, CV54 has got to be between 30 and 50. I've set this one to 30. Also, you want to disable railcom feedback. Sometimes railcom feedback won't work with Coreless motors, especially on older locos with the old technology circuitry and stuff. So I've disabled the railcom feedback. If you have it enabled, it'll just run jerky. It won't run right at all. So anyway, I'll just power this up. Switch the lights on. Let's watch that move. You can see how smooth that is. Speed step 1. And that is running really, really smooth and nice. Turn it back. Now, if you add railcom feedback on, it will change the CVs around automatically, and it'll change the CVs. It'll bring them out of the zones of 52, and 54 will go into a different reading. You've got to change them back again if you go into railcom feedback. So switch off railcom feedback when using Coreless motors on Locksound V4 chips. I'm not sure about Locksound V5. When you're programming chips, you just do not touch them. Whatever you do, do not touch a chip or go anywhere near the boards with anything metallic. Anything metallic goes near this, you've got a risk of blowing a chip. Even if you slightly touch the terminal, the interface. That chip is protected with a plastic sleeve, so that's not too bad. And I was going to put, if I can find it, oh yeah, there we go. I was going to put a power bank, Trainomatic power bank, but I didn't bother in the end, so I think I'm just going to leave it as it is. Right, so at last this model is now complete. I've opted for a smaller speaker. Took out this huge bass reflex speaker and installed a smaller version of it. Tidied up all the wiring. I like these old clips on the old Trix Marklin models. You can pull these clips out and you can route the cables along really conveniently. It's really nice how it's done. There's the Coreless motor installed. No power pack on this. Don't think it really needs it, this model, to tell you the truth. Another update which is possible in the future is LED lights to replace the incandescent bulbs. I think you can get an updated lighting board for this model. Put that back on the track, so power it up, and let's have a look. Let's power this up now. Yep, all the lighting has been tamed and toned down so it's not too bright. That sounds good. It'll sound, the speaker is now firing upwards, where last time I had it firing downwards, so I'm going to put the body shell on. Just stop the loco, just put the body shell on, make sure everything, there's nothing getting snagged. I'm going to put the body shell on, make sure the cables are all, yeah, there's clearance to go on. Just got to be careful putting metal body shells on, making sure that no, you know, like exposed areas are going to touch any metal, so make sure it's switched off. Put that on. There we go, that just plonks on there. Tighten it up with 2 screws. Switch it back on. That seems to work quite nice, and the lighting is yeah. That's all working really nice. One thing I never realised on this model, I never realised it had an upper cab lighting. I never realised that. All years I've had it. Yeah, so that is complete and all done. Yeah, the most difficult thing to do on this model to retrofit it with a coreless motor is the milling around the taking away the excess steel off the motor chassis. That is the most difficult thing to do, and that's got to be done correctly, otherwise it's not possible to fit. Well, anyway, so thanks for watching again.